Okay, everyone, we are live. Happy Tuesday. Y'all, it has been a hot, wild mess out here in the United States of these Americas. Okay. And listen, goodness gracious, it's like a hot mess out here. You got your boy Elon over here rolling up in people's government offices. I hear he's going for the Department of Education next. So listen, we're going to keep you updated, keep you posted. But what I wanted to do tonight is I still want to give time for reflection and whatever you all would like to talk about. But I wanted to take this opportunity to really do some celebrations and think about Black educators or Black history and CCSD. If you have a teacher that you want to shout out, if you have a teacher that you want to shout out, a Black teacher that you want to shout out, this is going to be the perfect day to do that. Um, Many of us, listen, I'm supposed to be doing the introduction, and y'all know my introduction would be a whole monologue, documentary, all of the above. Everybody, thank you for showing up today. I'm Camila Bywaters. Currently, I am focused in on making sure that we are paying attention to what's happening with our school system across the United States, but also here in the Clark County School District. It is so imperative. If you do not believe now more than ever how important it is just to have a handle and being in tune with what's happening in our educational system, now is the time. We do have some guests today that if they would like to, they can go ahead and introduce themselves while I kind of manage who is on our Facebook Live, on our Facebook thingamabobber. So, Mercedes, I'm gonna let you introduce your husband. So you go ahead and do you, and then do your introductions.
Thank you, thank you. So again, I'm Mercedes McKinley, current SOSA at CCSD, fighting to get my standard teaching license back, um, which is potentially very exciting. So, but for the first time today, I am very happy to introduce my husband. Oh, sigh. Just kidding. His name is Bernard. Mr. Bernard McKinley Jr. And this is really exciting for me because about a year ago, he took some time off. So he works with the Teamsters Local 631. He builds conventions, the big ones, CES, all that stuff. But he took some time last year and wrote a book with my daughter, our daughter, with these wooden shapes that she got for a gift. I think it was for her birthday. And it's been really exciting. He put the whole thing together and it's up for sale on Amazon. It's still kind of surreal. And because it's Black History Month, I've been trying to help him kind of get out, introduce himself. And those of you, I know Tracy's not here, but whoever works in schools, I'm trying to get him to go out to some of the schools and read his book because, the kiddos love getting those autographs. We were in library today, actually,
Absolutely.
and the librarian was going out. So anyway, sorry. Bernard, please take it
No
away.
apologies.
I'll stop. Right?
All right. Thank you for having me this evening.
Yeah.
My name is Bernard McKinley, not Osai. I had to actually get a different account in the Zoom. I had some computer issues, and it doesn't even matter now. Anyway, as Mercedes said, I do work for the Teamsters Local 631, and I did take some time off last year for a good portion of time. And during that time, I was reading some books to my daughter, and she loves to tell stories,
I'm
and we like
unmuting.
to tell stories, read stories, draw, get things down on paper. And so I figured, why not? How cool would it be to have something on the bookshelf that you could pull off and it has your name on it and you all created it yourselves? So I created the book along with the help of my daughter, The Shape of Belonging, with different shapes, all kinds of shapes. This guy right here is supposed to be in the circle family, but he's misshapen. And or, it's funny because the book that really started this whole thing was I Like Myself.
Mhm.
And so this circle here, right, is misshapen and it's not like the other circles. And so it decides instead of being made fun of and not fitting in, it would go have its own adventures, and you know, along the way comes across other shapes that don't quite fit in, and it finds its own group. It's a get in where you fit in type of message. And I know when I was a child growing up, I could have used that information a lot sooner, let's just say, because there are a lot of people that we know who, you know, try to do things to fit in and it just doesn't go their way. Instead of finding their own, you know, tribe, you know, they try to fit in with a prescribed tribe. So anyway, sorry about that. The shape of what were you saying?
No apologies.
Yeah, okay, all right. I just don't like to drone on too long. So please stop me if I'm becoming too much.
Good.
The shape of belonging, I think, is a great story for, you know, people 3 and up, you know, because they like to, you know, go over their shapes, colors. Within the book, you have elements where you can, you know, count, excuse me if I can get to the right pages, count how many shapes there are, you know, make the illustrations vibrant. Everybody's happy except for the sad parts, and you know, sad except for the happy parts. Anyway, the shape of belonging. Get in where you fit in, find your own tribe, do your own thing, and be your own person, and the right people will find you. That's the message in this book by
I
Bernard McKinley Jr. and his daughter, Jade, on Amazon in paperback and ebook format.
love it. So please send us the link. I think, you know, this is so, I think this is the right time to, you know, celebrate you as a Black author with your daughter. Oh my goodness, listen, we have to support each other, and there's no better time than now. So make sure you send us the link so we can send it out. I'm going to definitely make sure that I do some promotions, that we can get some people to purchase it. Listen, actually at my children's school, they had an author come in and they bought the books for all the kids.
Okay.
So listen, they need to spread this out and make sure that we're celebrating local families as well.
For
And that
sure.
actually has been one of the, in the Clark County School District, one of the something that the Las Vegas Alliance of Black School Educators, LAVAPSI, one thing that we has been a part of our mission and focus was to ensure that, you know, to work with the Clark County School District to
Mhm.
make sure that they're utilizing our community and the schools are really being equitable in the resources and how they're spending taxpayer dollars and including our community in that. So let's work this book, get it shared. I mean, it really sounds great. And I think it's a perfect
Sure.
time for this message, you know?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for sharing. Is there anything else you want to say?
Absolutely. So, you know, you talk about Elon Musk and how he's trying to throw his weight around in the government and things of that nature. Another reason why I felt compelled to write this book is because, you know, there are book bannings that happen all the time.
Right,
And
right,
so, right. And so, what better way to be able to influence your own tribe as well as those closest to you and then spread outward than writing, illustrating, you know, and distributing your own books,
right.
right?
Exactly.
So it doesn't matter, you know, if they take the books out of this, well, it does matter. However, we as the parents and as the educators can take it upon ourselves to make sure that certain information gets out, what
Right.
message gets out, how it's delivered. So that I'll leave you on that.
Absolutely. I love that. So listen, y'all, I don't know if you got the memo, but there is like a nationwide, what is it? Boycott on Target. And we are celebrating and we are supporting Black businesses, y'all. And here's what I'm going to say. I really believe that and we're talking about Black history. So we are elevating everything Black, and we are going to talk Blackity Black, Black, Black for every single day of our lives. Now, here's what I've really been reflecting and thinking about, y'all. This is my opinion. Chime in where you want. But I think that we Black people have been very, in some ways, kind of reserved about saying about elevating Black voices as a community. In this time, more than ever, with white supremacist people like Orange Cheeto Mussolini, as Rodney calls him, Orange Theory. I heard somebody call him Agent Orange. We're hearing all of the conversations around dismantling DEI. And when they're saying DEI, they're talking about Black people. So I really do believe that this is our time as a Black community, Black collective, to shine, baby, shine. And if we don't speak and honor and elevate our Blackness, we will be erased. So I feel that right now we are really in a season of elevating yourself as a Black person in America, elevating yourself as a lover of Black people in America. And I say this, and I'm actually going to do some other videos on this, but to our allies, this may be an uncomfortable, it may be kind of uncomfortable because from me, you're going to hear a lot of white this, white that, white supremacy, this and that. But this is not an attack on our allies. This is an attack on white supremacy, which is white people thinking that white men specifically, thinking that they are the power, that society can only be useful with them, that we can only be creative with white men. And I don't have there's a couple people who are now going to be working in with this administration who have literally said that we need white men to be successful. And while we're talking, I'm going to go find that clip of this white supremacist ideology. So to my allies, please understand, this is my allies. And when I say allies, this is people who are working to decolonize their own selves. And it is important to understand that we Black people, we also have a work in decolonization that we have to do as well. Of, reworking and rethinking about how we also have become, we have participated, not let me say become, but we have participated in oppression. And we have to grapple with that in ourselves. But anywho, what the point that I was making is that we're going to elevate Blackness. I'm going to be elevating. It's going to be so much, or people are going to be like, I'm going to have to unfollow her because that's all it is. But I really want to challenge our allies and Black people that every opportunity you get, please elevate Blackness. We are supporting Black businesses. We are talking about the beauty of our people, the beauty of our culture, because if we do not, we see this movement to silence our voices and to build a colorblind society that does not embrace who we are as a people. Yes. And I feel like this is our moment to be unapologetic. If there was no time to be unapologetic, this is the time to be unapologetic about that and to just move boldly in your power, in your creativity, and your brilliance. That's where we are. Really quick, I want to shout out Adu. Wow, Adu is on our Facebook Live, and he is from Africa, y'all. He's from Ghana. He's on our Facebook Live, and I want to say big shout out to Adu because Adu has actually followed my family for a while. My sister was a soccer player, and she played in Africa. So we have a whole African family that follows our work. So big shout out to you, Adu, for joining us tonight. Pastor Kelsey West, thank you for joining. And, tonight we're elevating Blackness. So we started off with our introduction. We're going to have the link to the book. Please share the link to your organizations, to your community. Let's make this book go viral. We do a lot of talking about supporting each other. Let's put our money where our mouth is. And let's put our, if we say that we truly support each other, let's do it authentically. And not only are you supporting, I was about to call you Osai, but um, it's not.
It's
Tell me your name.
Bernard. Sorry,
Bernard,
Bernard.
that's right.
Yes.
So you're supporting not only the work that Bernard has done, but his daughter, y'all. How old is your daughter?
3.
A 3-year-old and a father. Like,
Yes.
how amazing is that? Put together this book to share. So make sure you purchase it. I'm going to get my copies. I'm going to share with the Lavapsi community. We're going to get this out. And I think this is just like a great work that we can do together and really start to practice what we're preaching in community by supporting our community. So thank you, thank you, thank you so much.
No, thank you.
You're welcome. Benjamin.
Yes, my dear. How are you?
Good, good. How are you? It's so good to see you. How are you
I'm,
doing?
I'm well. I'm well. It's
Good.
we had a day at school, but
Oh,
we here.
okay.
We
Good. I know how that goes for real. So
yes.
did you have something you wanted to say? Something that's on your
Um, I'm sure you guys know we talked about it last week, my podcast.
Yes.
If if you're new in here and you didn't hear about it last week, you can find it on Apple and Spotify. It's called Special Needs with Special Circumstances. It
Okay.
is available. So I always tell people to use that as a tool because a lot of people they don't know what it's like for people with special needs, what they have to go through on a daily basis. So it is available on Apple and Spotify and 6 other platforms as well. But I only give 2 because, 7 other ones are like it's a lot. So
Thank you so much. Listen, we didn't kicked off Black History with just a wonderful start off. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but Cheeto Mussolini, he did a whole executive order talking about he done created basically National Black History Month. Sir, we've been celebrating Black History Month. So what? Y'all, listen, y'all, this is a perfect time, let me say, and I'm actually gonna start posting more, but this is a perfect time for independent journalists and independent news media to get out there and start sharing some of the untruths and false narratives that are out there, because we're really in a media information war, and it's so important that we just have new people rising up to do this work. Mercedes.
are you there?
Of course, I call her right when she came
Sorry, I know, right? No, I just wanted to piggyback on the 2 intelligent, bright young men on this call. And I know you're not that young, but and I'm so excited that you guys are here. And just to piggyback on everything you're saying, Camilla, and the importance of our Black educators. When I started teaching at Moore Elementary in 2019, about 3, 4 months in, I noticed that the only Black males on campus were our custodians. And I made sure that our kids were, because my students were very respectful, but it dawned on me that the little Black boys in my class, and I knew some of them, dad wasn't around, that they didn't have anybody to look up to. Okay, baby, I'll be right there. And so I actually had Bernard come in. I asked him, I said, can you come into my school and talk to my kids about college and how you went to college? Like, because somebody told me that as a person of color, I should talk to the students about going to college. And even maybe I brought in my degree and it didn't even hit me that a lot of them had never seen a college degree. And
on.
so I invited Bernard to come to my 4th grade class, and he did a presentation. He showed them some of the videos he had made. And we had a great time. But then, my next school, we had one Black male educator, and he was not treated well. And now he's off in another part of the world having a good old time. And we could have really used him here in Vegas. And so then when I met Benjamin, when I met Mr. Ray here a couple weeks ago, I mean, that's why I literally stopped in my tracks. I'm like, oh my goodness, you're here and you're working with the students. And you're not just working with the students, you're doing really good work. And I don't know if everybody out there knows, but the STAR program consists of our kids. I don't know if all of them are, I hate to say labeled, but classified as emotionally disturbed. Basically, they're the toughest children that anyone has to deal with. And it takes so much patience and love, and that's what this young man does right here. And so I really want to give a shout out and recognize that we do not have enough Black male we have a little more women. We could use more women too, but the men in education are really lacking. And so, yeah, let's support his work, Bernard's work. And it's just really an honor to have you guys both in the space tonight. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Amy, did you want to say anything? Okay, so I wanted to share with you all. There is an archive. So I wanted to just do some shout outs. If you have, okay, I'm going to, y'all know my brain starts going. So I want to share the CCSD archive so you can get some of the history, the Black history in Clark County School District. But I also want to give space for you if you want to honor a teacher, a Black teacher that you had. That would be great too. I want to shout them out, make sure we're celebrating and just honoring those who have come before us and those who are still working in education. They don't have to be in CCSD. It can be education globally as well. That's fine. But I wanted to make sure that we share a little bit. I wanted to give information on how you could find the history of CCSD, because sometimes people don't know like how we even got to where we are today. And we're not going to do a holistic, well-rounded history lesson, but I do want to just share a little bit of something. So I'm going to share the archives with you. Okay, let me see who just came in, the general. Okay. All right, so here you go. This is, okay, so if you go to ccsdarchives.org, you will get a whole list of some information, history that has been archived. All right. So if you click on home, nothing's right there. You go to collections. What did I want to show in collections? I wanted to show the past superintendents. Go to collections, go down to superintendents. And these are all the former superintendents in the Clark County School District. And who I wanted to celebrate for Black History was Dr. Claude G. Perkins. He was a superintendent from 1978 to 1981. And then celebrating Mr. Dwight D. Jones, who was a superintendent from 2011 to 2013. So those were our two Black superintendents. Big shout out. Oftentimes people think that Mr. Dwight was the first Black superintendent, but it's Dr. Claude G. Perkins. The next thing I wanted to show, and I'm going to wait for Tracy to get on here so we can talk about the West Side schools. And basically, this is the information, the history around the historic West Side, and how our schools were developed. Basically, an introduction to integration in Las Vegas with our Clark County School District. And then there's a whole timeline of getting to our sixth grade centers. Where was that at? Getting to our prime six schools, sixth grade centers. And I'll have Tracy kind of talk a little bit about that because her mom, Marzette Lewis, was very influential in that work. And I want to make sure that we elevate her legacy. And just give her credit for the work that she did to ensure that we had schools in historic West Las Vegas. Let's see here. What was the book? What is the book? All right, this is a great, if you all can get this book, Education in the Neon Shadow, this is a great book that talks about the history of the Clark County School District and Wake Up, notable organizations that helped to shape and shift the Clark County School District are in here, such as Tracy's mom, Marzette Lewis, who was a part of Wake Up. She is definitely mentioned in the book, but I think you can download this. It looks like you can download it. Mercedes? You can jump in.
I just wanted to say, I know she's not here, but I already harassed her about this. When Tracy first told me some of this history on Sunday, I had a lovely Sunday morning conversation with her, but then, it was like a couple hours went by and she filled me in on a lot of this history. And I just wanted to throw out there.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bernard. I kind of might have mentioned your talents when I mentioned this idea, but I think this story and what her mother did and what Wake Up did and everything you're talking about really needs to be told in a documentary. And
Absolutely.
I suggested that my husband and I should start working on one. At least, it takes a long time to research and collect, but thank you for sharing this. And my vision is to put this in a film of some sort and interview
Great.
community members, and so maybe you can give me some guidance on that too. So she was like, you could go ahead. She said you could go ahead. She's busy. So
Yeah, no. So you're talking who give guidance?
well, Tracy
Oh,
Tracy
okay,
and
okay.
we had a conversation because I hit her up after we talked and I said, I really want to make a documentary and tell the story about what your mom did and the district back then, because I remember the sixth grade centers.
Yeah.
And we even talked about Gerson Park. I lived in Gerson Park, which was the projects. I didn't even know that was the term called but again, the historic West Side, right? The proper name. So there's a lot of history there to be told. That could be anyway, sorry. So yes, this is really great. I'm really excited you're sharing
Oh,
this.
that's good. There was something else in here I wanted to show. What was it? Oh, and then they have a section here for graduates. You want I think this needs to be updated a little bit, but there's some notable who they call notable graduates. So you can go through this and see some of the, I guess, people, what they have a baseball outfielder. I'm trying to think of if there's any names I know. Oh, Larry C. Bolden. Let's highlight Larry C. Bolden, the first Black deputy chief for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. So they have them highlighted. Let's see. I'm trying to let's see. So anywho, this is it. You can go through and look at all the people who they deem notable. And I think I did tell you that the book is downloadable. I believe you can download this book so you don't have to buy. Well, actually, it says buy it, but then it says download Education in the Neon. So you can download specific parts of the book. All right. So that's that. Let me stop this share. I have another, I wanted to just go over the namesakes in a second, but having a Black teacher is not, I don't know if I want to say the word common. It's not really common, and it's kind of rare for students to have Black teachers. In elementary, I was lucky to have 3 Black teachers. My dad was like, I'm picking your teachers. 3rd grade, so big shout out to Miss Archibald. She was my 3rd grade teacher. 4th grade, I had, no. 3rd grade was Mr. Grant, Black teacher. 4th grade, I had Miss Archibald. And then 5th grade, I had Miss Harper. So big shout out to y'all. Thank you so much for just being my teacher. And I've never forgotten the impact that going to class and having a Black teacher, how that impacted and, motivated me. Because when I would hear stories of how rare it was to have a Black teacher in elementary school, and sometimes for people in secondary school, you have more opportunity maybe in like middle school or high school to have a Black teacher because you switch around the teachers. But to hear how rare it was like fascinating to me. Like, really? I had 3. And I'm just really thankful to my dad, because my dad was a longtime teacher at Rancho High School, but he made sure that I had Black teachers. So I'm really thankful for that. Does anybody else? Oh, look, we got people on Facebook who are saying, we have, please forgive me if I do not say your name right. And I really hate this because as a teacher, I love saying people's names correctly. But Broadus Very, their first Black teacher was their orchestra teacher, Mr. Turner, in the 4th grade. Big shout out to Mr. Turner. We see you. So if you want to share who your teacher was, please do so. I love it. Oh, and I had a Black principal. Now this, y'all listen, in the Clark County School District, this is rare to have a Black teacher. Give me one second. Okay. It is rare to have a Black principal. I had Mr. Evans at Rancho High School. And this has been a really big fight. So big shout out to Mr. Evans. Miss Amy, do you know who Mr. Evans is? I can't remember Mr.
Yes,
Evans' name.
Bill Evans.
Bill Evans. Is he
But I
still
don't, no, he passed away. He coached a lot of basketball games and stuff a lot of years.
Yes.
I don't remember him at Rancho, but I'm looking.
Yeah, yeah, he was at Rancho when I was, goodness, I had to be maybe, I don't know if I was, I believe I was a student. I had to be a student. Unless I was just walking, no, I had to be a student. It probably was like my 9th grade year, if anything. Unless I was just walking around campus and I just
What year did you graduate?
I started Rancho in, what year did I go to high school? I graduated in 2001.
Okay.
So what, 1990? So I started in what, 1996 or 7? I think he was there then. Yeah. But I always remember him. And so some of the work that we've done as LAVAPSI, even now, and it has been a struggle, is to get more Black principals, but specifically Black male principals in at the high school level. Right now, you can count on your hand the number of Black high school principals that we have. And that is definitely something that we want to work to improve. Thank you, Bree. Bree told me that her name is Bree, so thank you for telling me that. But I think it's absolutely important. So when we're talking about having people in schools who represent or at least look like the students, I think it is so important that we have representation, right? And I think there's something about our culture, like we know how to work with our students. That's just plain point, period. I know working with challenging behavior, and not necessarily challenging behavior, but with all the colorful personalities that we bring to the table, sometimes it can be challenging for people outside of our culture to understand, experience, and work with students. So it's so important that we have that representation. Did anyone else have something they wanted to share? Where are we at on time? It's 6:42. Oh my goodness, time goes by so quick.
It does. I just wanted to interject just a little bit. I had a middle school 6th grade teacher, Miss West Williams, who was one of the first teachers to ever really be on her students, just hardcore. I don't even know how to describe it, but she was like a mom to everybody in that class. And she was hard on everyone, but by the end of it, you had an appreciation and a new skill set when hitting the books. And for my middle school, I want to say for 2 years, we had a principal, Mr. Carter. I mean, Mr. Carver, not Mr. Carter. Mr. Carver, who, like Miss West Williams, had a different touch with the students to the point where we built an appreciation for him. So he was really hard on us about decorum. There was, I think he was the one responsible for getting etiquette classes in the school. I know we don't really have etiquette classes anymore, but etiquette at the time we didn't really take it seriously. But looking back, he was trying to prepare us for a different echelon of living. I also had a Black woman principal, Mrs. Smith. I think that ended, like she was there around the time I was leaving, and then I had some really great Black professors in college. So shout out to all of them, Dr. Lawrence, Dr. Love. Just yeah. Anyway, let me stop reminiscing. Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good. This is the time for it. And someone said that I was thinking about her too, Bree. I don't know if Bree was talking about somebody that you were talking about. Y'all know the same teacher?
Oh, my sister. Oh,
It's a
okay.
sister.
Oh,
Yeah,
she's
I
a
think that's a
teacher. Okay,
sister.
okay. I'm like, wait a second. This
Hmm.
world thing got too small.
Yeah, no, for sure. Which teacher? Which teacher did she say? I can't see the Facebook. I'm just here on Zoom.
Say, um, I was thinking about her too. So whichever one was her
Oh,
too.
Miss West Williams?
Okay, yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so cool. I love that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to share. Did anybody else want to share something before we move on?
Actually, yeah, one last one I put in our chat in El Dorado High School. We had a teacher named Miss Bright. I believe her first name was like Athena or something like that. Because I tracked her down when I moved back. I was like, is Miss Bright still at El Dorado? And she was an English teacher, and she was like not my first black female teacher, actually. That one was in middle school at Jim Bridger, and she was our health teacher. And I remember she would get really real with us. And, I get sad as it is, not to bring the vibe down, but at the reality that I lost my first friend to a
Mm.
drive-by shooting in eighth grade at
Oh,
that school. And she was so upset, because we all knew him. His name was Efrain. And she came back, and everyone, like, because I remember multiple people saying, like, man, and I cannot remember her name, but she was like, you live by the gun, you die by the gun.
mm.
And she would say that because again, she would just get really real. But that happened when
Wow.
we were in eighth grade. I lost somebody to a drive-by shooting in North Las Vegas. So anyway, but she was I could not remember her name, and I do remember she was like, I get massages. Like she had no shame. Like she was like, I take care of me. I got to take care of you all.
Right.
But she was so great. But anyway, in high school, we had Miss Bright at El Dorado, and I didn't even really like English class. I just liked her. And so then we did everything possible. Like my friend Michelle and I signed up. She taught English too. We took English too. And then we were like, how can we stay with you? We took creative writing. So I had the same black female teacher for English like 3 years in a row. And she's the first person who she made us all teach the class and pick what we were going to teach the class. And a lot of us picked like a movie, and we had to go over it with her. She guided us whether we were going to do questions and whatnot. And that was one of the deepest like projects ever that I've done in school, because everybody brought their best selves that day to be the teacher, and she pulled that out of us, and it was really cool. And one thing that I'll never forget, we watched The Shawshank Redemption. It had
Mm.
just came out, and she was hovering for like 2 hours over the door because it was rated R, and we were supposed to be watching it. But the lesson, still here, was about how the prisoners had become institutionalized. And
Mhm.
we were high school seniors who had also become institutionalized, ready to
Wow.
go out into the world. I remember that. And I remember her like guarding the door, like I said, but she really, man, that woman. And I don't know if she's still around. Last I heard, about 5, 6 years ago was the last time I stalked her. And she had retired and she was around. I don't know now, but the lessons and the blessings have stayed with me for a long time.
I love it. I love it. One of my now I'm gonna go. Well, you know what? Let me do my celebration of CCSD. Then I'm gonna talk about my own Howard story. Thank you so much, you all, for sharing. I think this is so great that we're just elevating Black teachers and principals and educators. And you know what? We ain't gonna go nowhere until we elevate Miss Amy up on here and all of your contributions to the Clark County School District. Can you just run down that resume real quick?
No, I can't remember it. No, I was my niece is over at Amber, and we were looking back through 91 when she graduated at Rancho.
Uh-huh.
And I tell you what, we're both, it's so many people in here that we remember that were helpful and counselors. And of
Yeah.
course, your daddy got a picture of him in here.
Oh, you found.
From 91. I said,
Oh,
well, you're so
wow. Oh my
young.
gosh, I have to see what book are you looking at?
91.
Oh, wow. Oh my
That's
God.
before you. That's why I asked you what year did you graduate. That's the year she graduated. So, and I'm amazed, but I am amazed at the number of African Americans that were there in different jobs that particular year.
Yeah.
It's quite a few. Yeah, I can't. I'd be naming them, and a lot of them have passed away. Maggie Pearson,
Mhm.
guys knew her, and I'm trying to think of a couple that Coach Curtis. I think everybody knew
Yeah.
Coach Richard Curtis.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's quite a few people that was in your daddy. In his always in a suit.
Oh my goodness, yes. We buried him in a nice suit. That was one thing. I was like, well, my dad passed away, y'all. I'm sorry to like throw that in there like that, but when he passed away, we made sure that he had, y'all, sometimes he would be embarrassing me. I'm like, is that you wearing that shiny one today in 100-degree weather? And he'd be like, I am. So, but he loved his suits. Like he absolutely loved it. And we made sure that we sent him home with the heavenly angels with the best suit possible. But yeah, my dad that was his thing. For real, for real.
No, take care. And the one thing I can say, when he showed up in a tuxedo, then we knew what had happened that night. That means he didn't make it home.
Right. Oh gosh, that's hilarious. Goodness gracious almighty. Y'all, listen now. Okay, now I know you didn't slid by you though.
I don't even know where to begin. Now, I put in almost 40 years in the district, so that's kind of hard. I wouldn't even know. Yeah, I'm old.
That is, sorry,
Go ahead,
let me
Ben.
just say how commendable that is, first of all.
Absolutely.
I mean, I just 40 years, man.
We trying to
Let
just
me
get
show you a video.
in.
So you won't think that I'm that old, but I'm old.
I mean,
But it was 40 years of some of it was subbing. I started in 79. I officially retired in 2011, but I subbed up until the pandemic. That's why I said 40 years in
right.
the district and doing different things. And my one thing I always say is that, we wanted to be principals, and we African American women had a hard time at the high school level making principalship. But once I retired and subbed administratively, my last 2 years, I was associate superintendent. Subbed as associate superintendent, even though I couldn't be a principal, but I was able to go and tell the principals what to do my last 2 years. So that made up for it.
Okay.
Hey, and we celebrate you. And
I
listen,
love that.
yes, and she talking about 40. We just trying to get 3 and 5.
Right. We
We
have
trying to
here,
get 3 to 5 in
right.
this generation. Wow. Well, thank you so much, Miss Amy. We celebrate you, we love you, and we're just thankful for your service and also your just support of the work that LAVAPSI does. So we're almost at the end. I wanted to go really quick and share this screen of the Black school namesakes. I better have them all. If I forget one, I'll make sure to elevate it the next time. But I'm going to share my screen. Okay, let me make this. What's going on here? Okay. Why are you in the way? Okay. Here we go. All right, so these are the Black school namesakes in CCSD. We have Mabel Hogard, Kermit Booker, Helen Anderson Tolan, H.B. Fitzgerald, John C. Bass, Dr. Claude G. Perkins, Dr. Carolyn Reedham. We have Judge Adelier Guy. What's next? Next page. So big shout out to all of our namesakes. We have James McMillan, Senator Joseph Neal, Charles I. West, William Bob Bailey. We have Ruby Duncan. We have the Goins family. We have Dr. Beverly Mathis, Clyde Carson Cox, Eva G. Simmons, Parson, Shirley Barber, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Tyrone Thompson, Hannah Marie Brown, Jesse D. Scott, and Wendell P. Williams. I don't think I forgot anybody. Now, if I did, I'll make sure to elevate them next time. But one thing that is important is that we have so many more to go to get a part of our namesake schools. And there are other ways to be honored within the Clark County School District. You can have a namesake school, or you can have like a facility named after you. I do know that there's some other individuals that we want to make sure that we are elevating and honoring their work. And as our population continues to grow and these schools keep getting built and facilities are out here, there's room for everyone, in my opinion. But I'm sure there'll be some pushback, but we're gonna fight, and win. That's what I'm hearing.
And Camilla, I don't mean
Yeah.
to put a downer on it, but Mr. Goins passed away, and his funeral will be this Saturday. So we have
Thank
to
you.
keep that family in our prayers.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for saying that. But we were on the call last week when Tracy bombed us with that, right? Remember? Yeah, so it was like a real quick. So we do want to make sure that we're honoring the family, the Goins family, as they're going through this time. Thank you so much for reminding us. So we've made it through the end. Anybody have any last words before we get off? So today you were able to get the CCSD archives page if you want to go back and kind of go through that and learn the history of the Clark County School District. And it's really important to understand like how we got to where we are today. And the work of LAVAPSI, we've been very intentional about understanding our history and understanding why we have some of the problems that we have in the Clark County School District. Because one, they didn't just pop up. And most of the things, if not all of the challenges that we advocate for as LAVAPSI, they're not new. There's nothing new under the sun. We've been advocating for these things for decades. So I'm very thankful for Delray Rhodes, Deborah Jackson for the work that they've also done in just elevating, working with Wake Up and the work that they've done to provide us with like a foundation to do this work that we do in the Clark County School District. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. There are so many things that you could have been doing on this Tuesday. So we thank you for just taking the time to help us to honor Black history, to talk about, just to celebrate the people who are often missed and who are our unsung heroes. We do have, and I need to ask about this, we do have a Clark County School District, what is it, Hall of Fame. I'm gonna look into that because I haven't heard anyone Hall of Faming lately. So I want to make sure that we have that still going and see how we can just begin to elevate, the phenomenal people who have been doing and continue to do the work in our school district. Before we leave, I want to make sure that Bernard, that you get an opportunity to share your information again, and then also for you too, Benjamin. And then if anyone has any last words or anything that they want to share, you can definitely do that.
Absolutely. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, go ahead. I'll go at the very, very end.
Okay, no, I was just gonna say once again, the book's name is The Shape of Belonging. It got some cloudy parts on my camera. Anyway, The Shape of Belonging, you can get it on Amazon in paperback form, or if you prefer, or the little one, that you're getting the book for has a tablet. I know a lot of people don't like the, screen time or anything, but make it educational if they're going to be on it. Ebook, $9.99. Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Sure, I'll be seeing you again. I'll be seeing
Yeah.
you again. So thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Ben?
Yeah, Mercedes, make sure you send me that link, please. I'll start sharing it immediately. Um, and yeah, just thanks for having me on the show. I hope you guys get a chance to um listen to my podcast, give it a go. I'm looking for some new people to interview,
Okay.
so gonna be working on that pretty soon. I also am in the process of talking to WGU. I need to talk to them about some things so I can start with the dual licensing program. So, oh, it's coming through already. Thanks, Mercedes, for that. Appreciate that. And then hopefully just to be, continuing with the district until the wheels fall off,
I know
basically.
that's right. Until these wheels fall off.
So,
Good. So next week we have, okay, where am I having? I'm gonna have to check in with her. We have Dr. Carrie Sampson coming next week. Dr. Carrie Sampson wrote a book called School Board. Goodness gracious, where's her book? She wrote the book, let me grab it really quick. Dr. Carrie Sampson works at Arizona State University. She wrote the book Navigating School. You probably can't see it. No, you can't. She wrote the book Navigating School Board Politics, a framework for advancing equity. And she had been watching the District E race and the District C race. And she particularly has been watching races that are running against like Moms for Liberty candidates and the Yuku Wacko people of our land. So she's been doing a lot of research on that. So she's going to come on next week. I'm going to make sure to follow up with her. I think it will be a great conversation to have with her about her work and what she's been seeing nationally with school boards. So hopefully we'll have her. She's scheduled for next week, so hopefully she'll still come. If you want to be a guest on the show, if you have a topic that you would like to talk about in education or just something that you think that we need to know, please, you can just email me at Camila for Nevadans, and I'll put all that stuff in our description. And I also know that Ben is looking for people. Now, I don't know who listen now. Here I am broadcasting for Ben's show. Ben, like,
So,
I don't know who I want.
so basically, I'm looking for, moms of children or adults with disabilities to interview for my podcast. Educators as well, if they have time to do it. I know their schedules get crazy busy. And I work around your schedules, so it wouldn't even be an issue to do that. But I'm looking to grow it and looking to get it out there more. I started a YouTube channel. I need to update that. Just working the district is it's like a full-time job. It's part-time, but it's like a full-time job, especially with the kiddos I deal with every day. So, which I love my job, but but yeah, so I'm in the process of actually going to be moving into my own place March 1st as well too, so that's coming up.
Okay.
So yeah, got a lot of I need to start looking into these scholarships and getting the deadlines going for that as well.
Okay.
Just have a you know, have a a busy plate. So trying to navigate all this stuff.
You
It's
got it.
it's definitely not easy,
I
working two
know.
jobs and trying to, navigate. I'm glad Mercedes reminded me of the meeting because I'm like, wait, it is Tuesday. So I had to
Thank you
make
for sticking it in there with us.
Oh no, no problem. Anytime I can get on, I'll hop in and make sure, my computer is fully charged and stuff like that. But uh definitely if and I'll even start sharing the book with my school too.
I love
Uh
it.
the ebook and the hard copies. Uh we'll start putting the word out there, seeing if we can get it in our library.
Thank
Uh
you.
I'd like to I'm very very good at communication when it comes to that. So I will pull some strings. I'll talk to our principal, Mr. Christian, which Mr. Christian and Dr. Clayman are two very good people. They've been very supportive. They basically gave us the keys to the castle when it comes to STAR. So
I love
STAR,
it.
if you guys aren't familiar with STAR, it's social emotional teaching reinforcement. So basically what it is that we're reinforcing the behaviors with academics. And
Mhm.
we did have our new board of trustees today. Um, so the kids did very well. I didn't get to see her today, but they did. So and I need to talk to Mercedes about that too, because she had a lot of questions for us as well. She was like, "Where's your data?" I was
Which
like,
trustee made it to the school?
um,
Stevens, my district. That was the last comment I was going to close with.
Oh, okay, okay,
Actually, yeah, I don't know if you want me to take over. That's why I
No,
raised my
no,
hand
go
at the
ahead,
end
please.
because I wanted to end it on a positive note.
yeah.
That at least in my district race, I was able to befriend the trustee who won, and it's one of these fascinating. I'm fascinated by befriending people that are kind of on the other side of the aisle. She's like, I'm a nonpartisan, but I lean to the right. And we've talked it out several times, and there are things we disagree on, but then
Mhm.
there are more things that we do agree on. And so we have a really good relationship. And as soon as I started at Bartlett, I let her know, I was like, this is the most in compliance that I've seen anywhere. They're doing really good. And she had originally told me about the STAR program, and she's like, she had just heard horrible stories. It was like story after story after story about how horrible STAR was. So as soon as I saw what was going on at the school I'm at now, I let her know. I was like, this is an exemplary
Right.
like they really, because it's not just about isolating the kid, like they really were. Even just today, I walked by and Mr. Ben was in a room with one student doing the work, and the kid isn't wilding out running the school, which is kind of how they had labeled it. So I was really surprised because just last week, I kind of got in her ear and she showed up and she came to our school today. And I have some hope, you guys, a little bit. I know she's just one trustee. She might not get everything right, but the fact that she showed up at my school, she went to their room, she met her, you know what I mean? I'm I'm just trying to share a little bit of hope. There's just a little bit of hope out there that, at least I have faith in District A to some degree. She's showing up. Let's put it that way. I don't think he had met the last trustee at all. So,
Well, she was out there twerking and allegedly in South Dakota, North Dakota, one of them Dakotas, or was it a whole nother uh or is that the wrong C? I'm talking about Katie Williams. Oh, that thing was in a whole nother state. Tracy, and then I want to just really quick, big shout out to Miss Valerie. We also want to make sure that we're elevating and celebrating you for all the years that you have put into education. I don't know if you want to come off mute to say anything or if you're able, but please know that we honor and celebrate you during Black History Month as an educator. Okay, she didn't come off mute. Tracy, did you want to say something before we log off?
Well, good evening, everybody. I just wanted to say CCSD's business never stops. 365 days out of the year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So my apologies for coming on late. I was on with a call about CCSD. Yes, we are in Black History Month. I want to pay homage to all of those who came before me. We have many African-American educators that I saw the presentation that, we want to make sure we honor them and we don't forget them. And I just think about Dr. Perkins and him being the first Black superintendent that we had, and Bernice Moten being the first Black school board of trustee that we had. And she still does not have a school in her namesake. So I think that is something we definitely need to look at, versus some of the people who do have schools named in their honor, that maybe they haven't done anything in education at all. Maybe it's just because they have, money. I don't know. But anyways, I'm not even gonna go down that road. But there are a lot of amazing people in education that we need to just, remember and pay homage to. So and also elected officials such as Senator Joe Neal and Assemblyman Harvey Montford. Those are people who just poured into me. The Cheneys, Willa Cheney, Linda Howard is somebody who the community has definitely, from my perspective, has forgotten about. She was the only Black female board of regent that got some things accomplished because of her advocacy and her work on her own. She was able to start some of those satellite campuses that we see. And then we had Laura Perkins. We had some men, but our men are just a little different. So I'm not go down that rabbit hole either, but they just a little different. the women on the front line. That's all I'm gonna say. Black women are always on the front line, and then here come our brothers. But there are some amazing Black people that just, that came before us. I know my mother, Marzette Lewis, and Deborah Jackson, and Delray Rhodes, and Lucille Bryant, and Miss Helen Tolan. My father, Earl McDonald. They came to Vegas and they did some things. Mary Wesley, my aunt, along with Ruby Duncan. Like, these were people who really shaped, and what we saw in historic West Las Vegas, that is now pretty much, that is gone. They had built that up, and that was our mini downtown area. And my father was the first Black electrician. So I know I don't speak enough about him and his services to the community, but he did that. And like I said, my family, my aunties, they all migrated from Mississippi. Most of our people migrated from some parts from down south to help build historic West Las Vegas and to help shelter people like Sammy Davis Jr. and some of our other legendary, singers and people who would perform on the Strip, but they couldn't stay on the Strip, so they had to come over to the West Las Vegas area. So they had the Moulin Rouge and all the different hotels and things of that nature at that time. But there is a very rich, rich, rich history. And so it's really sad that our community could not come together to preserve some of that, and some of the Black elected officials that have been in some of those decision-making roles have allowed things to take place that happening now. And I hope and pray that we are able to start to see some change right now. But you know what? It's real hard to say, because people who are trying to preserve the community, they're having one conversation, and then some of our elected officials, they're having some different conversations. And for me personally, I just tell people, follow the money. Whichever way you see the money going, and you see Black people, for the most part, or groups, organizations, individuals going that direction, that's where the money is. So I'm watching and paying attention to that right now. And I see a lot of that starting to happen with the city of Las Vegas. It was with the school district, and it still is. But right now, the city of Las Vegas is going to be the new piece of meat. So happy Black History Month. I thank my ancestors and everyone who have come before me to, lay that foundation, like I said. And a lot of people don't know that our families were the ones that started a lot of things that have happened, but it's been some of us or people who have come from the outside that have made things be more difficult for the natives to get things accomplished. So I won't go on my soapbox. I'll be nice, because it is Black History Month. And thank you guys for listening to my little rant for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'm going to leave us with this. Centering Blackness in the bold age of white supremacy and white inferiority is our highest calling. And that is our assignment. And we have to do it with pride. Elevate Blackness, elevate the work that you're doing with pride, understanding, and knowing that we belong here. And if we don't elevate and center our Blackness, then we have a world right now, a white supremacist world that is working to eliminate our work, our achievements, and our contributions to society. It is absolutely imperative that we center Blackness, and we do it unapologetically. Until next time, my friends, hold that into your heart and know that is the assignment. Have a wonderful, wonderful Tuesday evening.